Not yet. Still, yeah, got it. Yeah. So we are live, and today with me is Mr. Ron James. And nowadays he's becoming more as a Batman. I don't know what is that. But let me introduce him quickly, and we will have some fun conversations with Ron. Ron has been known for in the industry from last 40 years as his knowledge around real estate and mortgages. He been on radio, on TV shows, on CTV as well. He been a co-host for different programs. He been a regular columnist on Toronto Star as well as now he's doing a coaching and helping other realtors to be the best version of themselves and reach their true potential as in a shortest period of time. Like Ron, you want to add something like that I missed here?
No, that's it. It was the Toronto Sun, not the Toronto Star, though.
Okay, Toronto Sun. Yeah, there was so many things, and I like maybe next time I should ask, like, just tell me three things because when I interview people like you, the top-notch realtors or the coaches, they have so many achievement, and then now like I want to focus on the main ones. So what are the main ones? So yeah, so like we are here to share value and what Ron is teaching about to realtors and what are their struggles. So if you guys have any question, you can post under the thread on Facebook Live as well, and we'll be asking that as well. But I have some questions that I regularly ask. So are you ready, Ron?
I'm ready.
Always ready. So tell me about a little bit this Batman picture that you're sharing nowadays. Like your getup is that. What is that? What is the reason behind just to
Oh, that was just a meme.
engagement thing?
You wanted commentary on what people share as their public persona on social media, etc. And truly, it is one of the challenges and mysteries inside real estate as to what do you want the public to see and not see.
Yeah.
So, there's many times when I'm working with clients, I'll see a professional profile on Instagram and then I'll see, belly shots on TikTok. So it's like if I can find you on Instagram, I can find you on TikTok. Make sure the message is consistent.
Yes, perfectly said. I call it like we call it in marketing language like persistent or consistent online presence.
Right.
And of course, like this kind of content creates some engagement and some personality of yourself, like who you truly are,
Well,
rather than
it also, a few years back, I had a marketing company review my plan, and interestingly said to me, "You're nowhere to be found on social media." And it's like funny when I type in my name, I'm on the first top of, the top 30 pages in here. And the marketing people said, "But for a million things, you have so many disciplines, right? You have real estate, you have mortgaging, you have music, you have coaching, you have teaching, you have writing, you have television, you have print, you have a book." It's like, which one of those images is you? So they basically showed me an example of a mirror, and they basically said if I took the mirror and I dropped it on the table and it shattered, all of the images would be of you. There'd be 1,000 little yous
yeah,
on the table. Which one do you want the public, the client, to see?
yes.
So in the case where there are so many side hustles for real estate, they have this project, they do everything from jewelry sales to real estate. Which one do you want me to see? Because that confusing message at this point in time will water down your results
For
of that
sure.
social
Yeah.
media profile.
So
So
then what you are focusing on more, which side? Consulting side, of course, that what I'm seeing.
I am on the consulting side. I help businesses. There's some realtors that flip houses. I flip realtors.
Oh, that's maybe we need to little bit understand what does that means, flipping realtors.
There's a lot of people that have taken their real estate license. They have done a couple of deals at this
Yeah.
point, and they think they've pretty much mastered how real estate sales move on. Yet, I'm 40 years into the business at this point. I'm learning daily. I'm being re-educated and updated with new tips, trends, hacks inside how
Yes.
real estate is progressing. It is a coral. It is a continuously living in organism, and you need to grow and succeed with it.
Yes.
So it
Mm.
it does surprise me how many people at this point that I speak to that really haven't got a clue what the hell they're doing.
So I believe also like every successful coach also have a coach as well. Like they have people next level to them and they are learning from them and they're teaching as well and learning as well. That's the way we all grow.
100%. Uh, there are many different forms of mentoring coaching. I've been very blessed. I have made connections with, worked with, studied for, and with people who do this and have mastery inside not only real estate sales, but mortgage sales and business development, sales,
Yes.
negotiation at
Yes.
this point. The only thing that we are hired for as realtors is to negotiate. That's the only thing that we need to bring as an absolute skill set to the real estate industry. You can market, you can make a feature sheet on Canva, nobody cares, right? What they care about is can you negotiate the contract? The reason you're paid the money you are is to be a negotiator. Can you negotiate? The course that they taught you at this point to become a licensed realtor never touches on it, not even a little.
Hmm.
So, how are you sharpening the axe to do the job that you're supposed to do?
Yeah, I guess maybe I don't know what the course is about, but maybe that is more about the laws and clauses and right legalities and things like that. That
Sure,
right? So tell me, when you mentioned like having so many identities, most of the realtors are part-time. They are not doing full-time real estate, and now they are doing multiple businesses, and that's also messed up their identity, right? Like what you say
100%.
about that?
Uh, talk to anybody that is a working professional who does put in, I love when people say, oh, I'm semi-retired, I only work 60 hours a week. So this is the true story. This is a full-time, full contact sport at this point. I'm confused and love to chat with people that are part-time that still can make a living at this. Having said
Mm.
that, I have met people in my career that were part-time agents that have gone on to having very successful full-time careers and both not only as realtors but as leaders as well, like management at a real estate brokerage, etc. When I remember them starting off as part-time. So what happens in this case is it is an incredibly difficult job. There is a ton to learn and even more to deliver to the clients that we serve.
For sure. So what advice you will give someone who is a part-time right now, but he want to become a full-time realtor in near future?
If you're part-time and they'll take you, I would suggest working on a team. At least they'll hand you some work to do. You will learn the fundamentals of becoming a full-time realtor. But I will tell you, many teams are gun shy about part-time agents because they have a job list for you. There is a real career. It has
Mm.
hours and accountability. So if you're not prepared to put in that time, put in that effort, and learn the craft, you're not going to make a lot of money.
For sure, for sure. I just want to share quickly a story. Somebody called me on Sunday that he wants my marketing help, and I asked him, let's have a Zoom call so I can better understand what your needs are and where you want to go. So he said, like, I said, what is normally you are available at? Just give me two, three options, and I tell you what is a good time for me as well. He says like Monday to Friday, Monday to I think Saturday. I am busy from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So after that, we can talk. So if you are that much that busy, so then even part time, how you will do that? I don't know. You are not there yet. So this
Yeah,
is a,
mystery.
I, yeah, mindset thing. So tell me, like, what you think is the number one reason that 80% realtors fail in first year and over 85% over the period of 5 years? How you see that?
No one's ever shown them how to do this, right? People are not taught when they leave the real estate course how to sell real estate. They're not taught how to sell real estate in the course.
Mm.
So as they get out with a freshly minted license, they've never been behind the wheel. They don't know how to drive the car. They don't know how the car works. They don't know how to put it in gear. They don't know how to kind of keep it on the road, and they have no destination. So I find a lot of people have kind of got in, and by the grace of God and the friends and family that have agreed to help them by saying, "Oh, I'll use you," not realizing what that truly means, right? They've been able to do a handful of deals, if that, and then they're lost. No one has ever shown them how to show a house, how to conduct an open house, how to have a conversation, how to answer a phone call on a sign on the front of the property when somebody's looking for price. They don't speak the language, they don't know the context and the content of the job. That's why they fail. And it is an interesting situation. Their average lifespan in real estate's about 7 months. They'll spend $15,000 before they find themselves back to being a barista at Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. So when like what when realtors are just taking their license and then they are not sure that where to start and which brokerage to join, so that the number one thing they have to think, I think, after having a license, how do you think like they should decide the right brokerage for them?
Well, they don't know what they don't know. This is one of the, I guess, challenges in real estate. Everybody says this. And oh, by the way, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help. Well, I don't know anything, so I don't know what I'm
Yes,
questioning.
totally, totally. I
So,
made the exactly the same thing in a video 2 days back, that if you call me and tell me that you need leads, maybe you think you need this, but that's not what you need. As an expert, it's my job to listen, ask question, and understand what actual problem is, that if I can really solve it, or then I can suggest you something. It's like a doctor, right? Yeah. So now tell me, like, a lot of realtors are, they are gonna just say like buy, invest, sell, lease, everything with me, commercial, residential. So what do you think, is a niche towning themselves is a better idea, or in initial time they should be just quite open? What do you say about that?
well, I hope they have deep pockets and good lawyers.
Now deep pockets means like little bit, explain that to me as well.
Deep pockets means they need to have a lot of money. They're going to put themselves in a libelous situation. Litigation is expensive, and even if they're only sort of right, they're wrong, and it will financially cost them. We're sitting on a powder keg of files from 2017, and then, of course, over COVID as well, of
Yeah.
mistakes that realtors have made that they should have known better. I don't know if people realize this, but when you go into court, some of those real estate expert witnesses, people like Brian Madigan, people like Barry Lebo, they've already done a forensics on the file. You're probably 65 infractions before they even open the file. That's before you show people at this point, right, all of your mistakes. And then people try to kind of go ahead and cover those mistakes. They had a gentleman, I saw a post that Barry Lebo had, where he was born here in Brampton, South Asian, went to school, graduated high school up in Brampton, has not one but 2 degrees from the University of Toronto, has been a practicing realtor for 7 years. When he
Mm.
entered the courthouse to face charges against one of the clients at this point, he brought an interpreter. And you go, I don't know,
Ooh.
born here, raised in Brampton, 2 degrees from a university that I'm pretty sure taught in English at this point in time, and now you bring an interpreter to court.
Ooh.
The judge quietly dismissed the interpreter, saying, I think we got this.
So then what?
So,
Yeah.
learn your craft, know your craft, and be prepared for consequences when you don't.
Yeah. So what I think, in simple words, that they should be choosing a niche they are very confident about. They know the rules and regulation, and they know that they can handle every kind of situation under that specific niche.
It has come to the point where at this we've moved away from what the essence of what real estate was 40 years ago. When
Hmm.
I started in 1982, this was very much a job. I showed up at 9 o'clock. I was told to go to home at 9 p.m., right? If I wasn't working with clients, I was in the office. I was either, getting instruction from my broker manager, right? I was on the phones, banging the phones at this point, looking for prospects, working on my very, rudimentary CRM. It was just literally recipe cards There was no digital format because
Yeah.
there was no computers. So
Yeah.
the reality of this is that I had a job. I worked at the job. We had hours right up until Friday, up until 6 p.m. We had to be back in the office working with clients on Saturday. Sunday was the Lord's Day Act. You couldn't work on Sundays. So you could host an open house, but you couldn't write or prepare or negotiate an offer.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a job. We had time in. It's not like today when I come in and I speak to a broker of record and say, how many agents do you have? 40. I see nobody here. Where
Yeah.
are they? I have no idea. There is no accountability. We are just literally as a brokerage an umbrella. So if you're a new realtor and you're looking for guidance, training, etc., most likely not finding it inside a brokerage. It really is rare to find one of those old school brokers who literally invests in their salespeople. You don't know what you don't know, and you certainly don't speak, the language of real estate called real estate ease. I didn't. I was very blessed to have a broker of record that handed me 6 cassette tapes back in the day from my car from a man by the name of Jerry Brescher, who's still around, by the way. He runs a program called The Listing Gym, and he wrote a book that I recommend to all of my clients called List More, Sell More, because it's about the language of real estate. It's real estate ease. It is scripts. If you
Okay.
haven't got scripts, follow scripts, employ and use scripts, then you're just bullshitting the public.
So then, like we were talking about stress management. Nowadays, real estate is like 24/7. Realtors, I think, work more on weekends than on weekdays. Then it's affecting their personal life as well, and they're always stressed out. So what you want to add to this?
That's
What they
on
do?
them. There's no such thing as victims, only volunteers. We've created this, we're available 24/7 until we're not.
Yeah.
I'll do a shout out to maybe somebody that you know at this point. His name is Jeff Ham. Jeff has a really fantastic strategy that he uses to manage client expectations. And this is where we feel that we're 24/7, that our phone
Yeah.
rings constantly and
Yes.
clients can text us at any time, night or day. What Jeff does, he has a program. He kind of maps out what his day looks like if he's following up with the buyer. He has lots of follow-up information. He
Mm.
sends a nice, very, complete and concise email that explains all of the things that they've done, what their plans are, what the future looks like. And then he says, if you need to reach me, right, please, between the hours of 4 and 6, I will be in my office to take your calls should you need to chat.
Yes.
So he
Awesome.
leaves them a
Yeah.
window of when he's available to take the call. He does the same thing with sellers at this point. And where he learned it, he worked for a woman as her assistant for 5 years. Her pet peeve was buyers and sellers that got ahead of her, that
Hmm.
sent her messages and notes and emails that said, okay, what's the plan? What are we doing? Where'd you go? She hated that. She hated the client getting ahead of her. So she made sure that she and Jeff, at this point, always were ahead of the client with information, updates, and data. It served him well, it served her well, and I think he understands the value of leaving a window of time for return calls so that he can get on with his day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's about controlling your calendar kind of thing that
Sure.
I'm still learning and struggling. Like the guy I was talking about, he called me on Sunday at 9:30 p.m. And because I was also working, I did not realize this is the time. And I was talking with him. And then afterwards, I shouldn't have picked this call at this time, 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night. Yeah, for sure.
No such thing as victims, only volunteers.
Volunteers. Guys, you're listening so many nuggets. Ron is sharing. I'm loving our conversation. So, Ron, tell me about this now technology fatigue. Like the realtors who were used to work more into like on simple books or don't know these apps and technology and new trends and all the time social media. So, what you want to advise them? Because a lot of realtors are so overwhelmed from this new apps and like so many things, tools always coming up every other day.
We, the technology is a tool. However, right, when you understand that it is a tool, right, you have to, think about how you want to employ it in your business. There was a study done that basically said at the end of your adult lifetime, you'll have spent 5 years on Facebook. 5 years. Here is the part that kind of makes you go, hmm. In your adult lifetime, as you pass away, you'll spend a year and a half total with your family and friends. A year and a half with family and friends, 5 years on Facebook.
Wow, this is alarming.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of Facebook friends that are fair weather friends at this point. Originating good contact, good leads from Facebook really starts with organic content. I've seen people that have spent a lot of money merchandising, employing companies, and I have clients that spend $25,000 a month just on an ad spend at
Yes.
this point. And people go, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." It's like I know people that spend 250,000 a year on newspaper
Yeah.
advertising still. So
Yeah.
the reality of this situation is on the ad spend, right? When you're getting a quality of lead, is it a quality of lead? And more importantly, when people come
Yeah.
to me and say, "Hey, I want to go and invest in lead gen." I had a client at this point that we do an analysis of the business. And it was determined out of her book of business, 50% of her business came from her own CRM. And I said, "Why do you think 50% come?" She said, "I have a annual barbecue and a lot of my clients come to the barbecue." I'm like, "Okay, great." I said, "How much does the barbecue cost?" And she said, "I don't know, $1,000 with, hot
Yeah.
dogs, hamburgers, and soft drinks and the like at that point." And I said, "And it's responsible for 6 deals in your case." It's like, that's a really good ROI. And then she said, "I want to invest in online lead gen." I'm like, "Great. What's the spend? How much to kind of get in?" And she said, "It's going to work out to like $2,000 setup and about $1,000 a month to run the program." I said, "Excellent. $14,000 spend. What are you hoping to get in return?" "Well, at least a deal." "Okay. So one deal is going to pay for all of the expenditure of
Expenses.
this
Yeah.
spend." I said, "How many deals have you gotten from internet in the past?" She's like, "None." I said, "Do you have a surplus $14,000 to throw into a moonshot, something that you've spent money on that may or may not return results? Because if you go in expecting something in return, you'll
Yeah.
probably be very disappointed." And then I'm like, "Are you ready to take a lead call? Let's role play on the spot."
That's the
And she
that's the most
failed.
important. Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
My
I worked
point
as a
is,
lead.
if you're not
Yeah.
ready to take the call, if somebody like me can get you to kind of give me all I need and give you nothing in return, you're not ready to take the call. You're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
spend a bunch of money on leads that you can't service or convert.
Yes, that's the exact reason now I posted like you need leads or deals. If you need deals, then maybe there are better ways. And before even lead gen, if you really want to do it or you have done before, you know how it works, you should be ready. Your profiles should be ready. Then you go use your money in doing that. First of all, as you mentioned, if you know already something that is working, do more of it, right? So it's easy to see like what already people have been working with you previously and doing these client appreciation parties kind of things. So those things first, and then do
Yeah,
more of them. If that is working you better, helping you better. That's cool. Now I saw that you create very good content, like a funny one. So which app you use for that? Just
oh,
curious.
it's a misspent youth. If I showed you, there's probably like 35 different little, you know, uh, meme style apps, stuff for font, stuff for text, stuff for overlays,
I have so many on
etc.
my phone, but I'm not, I didn't get time. I there was 2 years back, I was crazy about these crazy kind of apps, like they change your face and backgrounds, things like that. But now I thought like, let me ask you the one instead of going through all my 35 again, 30, 40, 40, like I have on my phone. What's the name of the app?
There's not one app
Okay,
that
using different ones.
yeah, I have about up to 30 different apps that, depending on the application, it starts with usually I've said something wrong. I posted something today, and the tagline of is it yeah, on the bottom said a sum zero game. Well, the time that they use that kind of language, sum is spelt S-U-M, as in a sum of money. That's how the
Yeah.
term is used. So I spelled it S-O-M-E, some
Okay.
zero game, because it was me standing on a set of scales with a box on my back. It's me in the both pictures on both sides of the scale.
Yeah.
One about interest rates and one about home prices. It's to show people that what goes up must come down. So if you want to drive the prices down, good, rates are going to go up. Hey, kind of like what's happening right now, right? The other way around. When prices go up, rates tend to be down. It is a sliding scale. And actually, when the rates are higher, the winner is the bank every time,
Hmm. I
which
think
is
they
where
are
we are
winner
right now.
anyways. They're
We're
always
there.
anyways winner. Yeah. They always not sharing any risk as such. Like it's more towards, I think, the people who are buying and they are the ones who is just on the backs, like suffering with all these changes and things, interest rates changes, like a normal person. What do you say about that?
I started real estate when interest rates were at 17%. I've been
Yeah, heard
speaking
that.
about rates and prices for 40 years, right? 17% interest rates. The year before that, they were 22.
So then it means it's a better time, but maybe people have less
Trust me,
affordability.
when rates actually came down and broke the single digits, I think there was a parade in Toronto, right? It took a very, very long time. There was a lot of people that were still carrying plus a $300,000 mortgage at 11% in 1989.
Hmm.
1989, a $300,000 mortgage at 11%. Just for perspective, if you bought a house last year, this year, beginning of the year, for $650,000 at today's rate, you actually carry that for less money than they
Yeah.
did back in 1989. But here's the caveat. Trust me, I didn't make a lot of money back in 1989. I make a
Yes.
lot more money in 2022, and that's how I'm paying today's mortgage payment. So I made less money with a higher interest rate at this point in time, not thought of anything of it. Now we flash forward at this point and people are like, oh my God, the sky is falling because interest rates are 5%. Do you know what? We've been qualifying people at 5.3% qualification rate for the last 2 years, actually almost four, since 2017, actually going back as far as 2008. They started with a stress test, then of course our second stress test in 2017. And they did that. So if you've seen movies like The Big Short, where it was the entire real estate collapse in the US at this point, the government put in these shelves to protect ourselves from ourselves. So every time you went and applied for a mortgage, you did so at 5.3. Even though you
Hmm.
might have got 1.7 or 2.2 or whatever the case
Yeah.
was, you qualified or had to qualify at 5.3. Guess what? Rates are 5.3. You've been qualifying for this for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Maybe it's more obvious now. Things are more obvious now. And
More obvious.
yeah, but the things were similar maybe before, but people can see it and they think like, oh my God. So now tell me a little bit about if a realtor is like kind of new and he wanna be someone who's selling luxury real estate, what they should do.
Pack a lunch. Pack a lunch. You can't be new and jump right into the new luxury home market. It,
So
it,
how many
it re-
years or what he should be doing, what its journey looks like if that's the end goal for somebody that's ultimately
I,
I want to be
I'll,
known for this niche.
I'll tell you a story. I have a friend of mine who was one of my coaches actually, and he
Yeah.
sold real estate in California. And in California, for high-end luxury houses, at this point, listing agent is there. Listing agent is deemed to be the one that shows and presents the property, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So my coach, my client Chris, sorry, my coach Chris, he shows up with his client, who is a prince. He's a Saudi prince at this point. Money and financing certainly isn't an issue, right?
Yeah.
He's looking for something quaint on the ocean side. I should have these such problems. But the situation is they get there, and the listing agent is this nattily attired Chinese gentleman, Asian man, and he
Mhm.
welcomes them to the home and actually quickly takes control of the presentation of the home. My coach, Chris, a very opinionated gay man, at this point is just seething because he's being out realtored by this Asian gentleman in front of him. All the way through the house, and then, of course, it was properly timed. It was dusk, sun was setting. The last step of the showing was going to be at the terraced backyard that
Mhm.
overlooks the ocean because they're on a cliff.
Okay.
At the very end of the terraces, there are several to get down to this like lookout point. There is a butler with a table for four, tablecloths, champagne, chilling, and documents and pens on the table. They get to the back. The Asian agent looks at the Saudi prince and says, "When would you like to close?" That's what he says. And he says, 30 days. It's like, yeah, it's good for us. We can do it. Please join Raphael down here. He'll pour you a glass of champagne. Your agent Chris and I will be with you in a moment. So they leave. The Saudi prince is making his way down to some champagne at this point, and the Asian agent turns back to Chris and says, "I know that you're probably really pissed at me right now, but when have you ever made so much money so fast, so easily?" From then on, Chris and this agent became great friends at this point. But that was somebody who knew their craft, honed their craft, and was at a master level of it to launch and and sell luxury homes. I've rarely ever met a rookie that's that good. You
Mm.
can't just know real estate unless somebody shows you how to know real estate. You
For
need
sure.
coaching. You need a mentor. You need to have the language, the look, the information, the style. When I talk to people, they'll take a listing in a condo building. I start asking questions. Where is it? Oh, it's in the city of Toronto. Excellent. My mother has mobility issues. She can't do the stairs. What if there's a fire drill? How high does the ladder truck in Toronto go
Mm.
on that condo building? You know what? Most realtors have no idea. I don't want you working with my mom. My mom's going to burn to death because you don't know whether the ladder truck's going to get her out safely, right? What is the percentage of rentals in the building? How do we compare dollar square foot on our condo fees versus other buildings that are in the area? Why is there discrepancies? You're being paid a lot of money to be a professional realtor. Please be one.
Yeah. You made it so clear. Now tell me if somebody is willing to learn and they want to start with a coaching, so how they should decide like who is the right coach, because there are so many options even in front of the realtors.
Oh, there is not as many as you would think. In the US, obviously, there's certainly more coaching options, right? But it's a different style. Real estate in the US is somewhat similar to Canada, but not identical. Like it
Yeah.
has its own ebbs and flows. Really, at this point for coaching, the only thing I can tell you is you need up at bats. You need the opportunity at this point to practice being a realtor. And the best thing that I can recommend if somebody was starting and brand new would be to find a team. The reason why is the team is invested in making sure that you have a platform of success. I had a woman who was a home stager for 10 years.
Mm.
She kept staging homes for realtors and was like, if they can do it, I can do it. So she went and got her real estate license. Hey,
Mm.
there we go. Now you can be one of the cool kids. For 2 years, she had a real estate license and did not sell anything. Never took people out, never listed a home. 2 years, nothing. Then she joined a team. She made $141,000 in 7 months. And then she quit. So she phones me. as a coach and says, I want to coach with you. I find out the story and I'm like, what? Why did you quit the team? Oh, it was not going to be a good fit for me, etc. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I said, so then what did you do? And she said, well, I've been on my own now for plus 12 months, about 14 months. I'm like, okay, great. I said, how much money have you made in 14 months? And she said, none, zero. I haven't
Yeah.
sold a thing. And she goes, what do you think I should do? Is this a trick question? You made $140,000, and in your estimation, that's the most amount of money you've ever made professionally in 1 year,
Yeah.
ever, and you did it in 7 months. What do you think my answer is going to be?
Yeah.
My answer is going to be go back and get your job back. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, yeah? What didn't you like? Well, I didn't like all the meetings. I didn't like all of the role playing and the scripting and all the, the door knocking and the
Yeah.
open house. It's like, what the hell did you think I was going to teach you? This is how the job is done,
Yeah.
right? If you don't like farming, get off the tractor. So, to your listener base and the folks that work with you at this point, right? You can't learn this. You can't be me, right? Just by showing up.
Yeah.
This is an apprenticeship. This is something that you're taught and you need to learn. And there's 1,000 mistakes. And here's
For
the
sure.
thing. You can't learn this in your room. You need to speak to the people. I was given two gifts when I started real estate. When I walked into the office, I'm 20 years old, 21 years old, in the office. And
Mm-hmm.
on my desk, which is literally a student's desk like you might have for your child, and there was rows of them. We look like we're in a call center. Nobody had private offices, etc. We all sat against the walls at this point. And on my very clear, clean desk with a shelf and a phone book, I was given 12 index cards. And I was given a sticker. I was
Mm-hmm.
given this sticker, and I'm holding these cards and this sticker in my hand, looking at the broker of record, going, the hell do I do with this? With the sticker, he said, I want you to peel it off and put it on your bulletin board in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the sticker was a bumper sticker from the motor oil company STP. So the big letters STP, motor oil. He's like, what is this? I said, it's a bumper sticker. He said, what's STP? And I said, motor oil. And he said, in real estate, it means something different. And he said, I'm going to give you the secret sauce of real estate. STP. See the people. Our business is about making connections. It's conversations. How many conversations a day are you having as it relates to real estate? Not many conversations, not many sales.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
STP. And then the other, these were the 12 cards. This was the very first CRM. And we had these with a little paper clip and we put them in our jacket pocket, etc. And you wrote down your friend's name and their phone number and you phoned them
Physical.
every Monday. Every Monday,
Physical.
you phoned them.
Yeah.
And the cool kids in real estate had multiple decks. They had 3 decks of 12 in their jacket pocket. The really cool kids would have them colorized. They would have blue ones, yellow ones, green ones. And I was like, what's with the colors? And they said, that's me segmenting my database. My A
Wow.
prospects are a green card, green for cash.
Yeah, like we are doing the tags nowadays. These are the tags.
My red card is the ones, or the pink card, are the ones that are in the stop. We've been chasing them, working with them, trying to work with them. No response, no return calls, right? They're still in my database, but they're at the end of my database.
Mm.
Yellow is caution, means that they're still, they have to work out a few things. We're still waiting on some deposits or down payment information, etc. And then, of course, blue were the folks that might not do anything until next year.
Mm.
So the idea was a very simple, very basic system, and we applied it. So looking at people today, when I ask them about CRMs, and they say, I have 5,000 people, I have 25,000 people on my CRM. I'm like, excellent. Let's put those 5,000 people in a recreation, center, and I want you to tell me how many people do you know by name and face and that know you by name and face out of 5,000.
Yep.
Only once, only once did somebody with 2,200 people in their database say they would all know me and I would all know them. Only once. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you do? He said, I've door knocked for 20 years. I've
Yeah, that
literally,
was actually going to my next question about door knocking and cold
yes,
calling. That's like something like realtors are horrified of. They don't want to
horrified
do.
because
That's
it's
why.
real work. And
Yeah, they just want
truthfully,
to do lead generation and they burn their money for a few months and then they say marketing companies are bad, lead gen companies. But because I've been doing a lead generation for years and I always explain them how it works, and then they sign up and then from the second week they start complaining. So
they should be
it's
complaining about HGTV, not online lead systems. You cannot
yeah,
sell,
but
multi-millions of dollars in real estate in board shorts. Team Josh Altman, wear a tie. That's the problem. We've
yeah,
taken TV shows, we've sensationalized or Hollywoodized what it looks like to sell houses, right? And I will tell you that it does take more than a pretty face.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so can you share a little script, something? If like you are on my door and I open the door, so what you will tell me?
Yeah, sure. Script is really simple. Hi, I'm working with buyers in the neighborhood, and I'm looking for somebody that's thinking of making a move. Do you know anybody? And when you say no, it's like, great, that's not a problem at all. Thank you very much, right? We've done an extensive market analysis for this property or this neighborhood. Would you like a copy of my report? I've already sent it to my clients. No extra effort to give you my copy of the work I've already done. Would you like a copy of it?
Cool,
I
cool.
can send you a PDF by email or drop a hard copy in the mailbox.
Yeah, that's all. Like maybe you guys have to practice this wording and then be willing to put yourself in a situation that is uncomfortable initially. And then once you're easy with it,
Yeah,
that's, I think, the best thing you can do, doing 101 and making connections, seeing people personally, and what we call it, belly to belly kind of thing.
STP. See
STP.
the people.
People.
That's
I love
a
this.
40-year mantra from my broker of record, Vernon Joe, but he's still around today. Wonderful man. Took me under his wing, actually protected me, tried to coach me at this point. But really, the lessons I learned from my broker from 40 years ago still stick with me, resonate with me today because it was a job. I was taught the craft. Somebody showed me how to show a
Yeah.
house, right? Do you have a list of the questions that you should be asking every time you show somebody a house? Do you know what the qualifications are? Are you playing a game of hot cold? Are you getting closer to their dream home or further away? Do you know who the decision maker is in the household when you're showing houses? Like, who
Yeah.
taught you that? Nobody.
Yeah.
So, how do you expect to be good at it? By saying, what do you think?
Yeah, you be ready for ground realities after taking your license. And then if that's not there and you're ready to be coached and understand your market and master your craft, license will not gonna do anything. I think that's in short we are talking about.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and one thing I want to mention, a lot of realtor when they take license, they go for a brokerage where they have like a minimum split.
yep.
In right now, you don't even have a deal, and then you're worried about the commission split. When you have, then
It's
you worry about
it's expensive to
join.
be a
Yeah,
realtor.
yeah,
To pay for the fees, and if you're a multi-board, realtor at this point, even being with a low desk fee type organization,
yeah,
right? What is the value of it? Yes, I've paid my monthly fee to kind of have a desk or work at home strategy at this point in time, but what am I getting,
yeah,
right? What's the accountability? Even in the big brokerages at this point where I pay a lot of money for my chair, at this point, here's the thing. We do business planning most of the time in around November. Somebody will sit down and say, hey, at noon we're ordering pizza and pop, but right now we're going to crunch some numbers and get you a business plan for next year. All right, cool. That's a great idea. So we finish the plan. Does the broker of record collect them? Do they pick them all up? Right? Do they mark them? Do they put them in your file and hold your feet to the fire for the next
Yeah.
12 months based, excuse me, on
Yeah.
your business plan? No.
Yeah.
There's no accountability. There's no
Yeah. Yeah.
leadership.
It's
At this
like
point,
a New Year resolution kind of thing we all make, and then after a few days, we all again there.
that's right. We're smoking and
Accountability is
drinking,
huge.
yeah, right
Yeah.
after. Right?
Yeah.
The accountability. So, one of the situations inside real estate, yes, coaching is good, but coaching, even if you only do it like once a week or bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, at that point, it's not sticky enough, right? I can't make an impact in your business, right, just every 14 days. And in some
Yeah.
cases, people are like, I'm going to take coaching monthly.
Yeah.
Great, right? You might as well just, watch my memes. The reality of this situation is you need somebody that literally looks at your business model, looks at your day, looks at the task management that you have,
Yes, for
and
sure.
gets you to prioritize. So when we first start working with any client, I want to look at their, where they're spending their time, where their energies are going. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
quickly find out that they do everything in their business, and sadly, that is not something that you can optimize your dollar from. So I typically look at it. If you can make $100,000 in real estate, believe it or not, that's not that hard to do. It's not that many deals to make up 100 grand. It tells
Yeah.
me that you're worth about $100 an hour when you are STP. When you're seeing the people, you are worth $100 an hour. When you're sitting down with buyers or sellers or somebody that wants to lease, you're worth your $100 an hour. If you jump from there, sit down on your desk and play Canva and make feature sheets, you're a very expensive graphic designer. You're $100 an hour for somebody that I can
Yeah.
probably find for 50 bucks an hour who's really good
Yeah.
at it, or 25 bucks an hour
For
who's only
sure.
so good at it.
Yeah.
So what happens when we run a business is most realtors do not understand the fundamentals of running a business.
For
They
sure. Key
they don't
point. Yeah.
realize I have a client who is probably 60 hours a week as a realtor, and she did a test that I give at this point. And she said, guess how many hours a week I work belly to belly with my clients? I'm like, I don't know, 30 hours? And she said, 13. I'm 13 hours belly to belly with my clients. I did the test that you've told me to do. I've written down where I was supposed to be. 13 hours belly to belly,
Yeah.
speaking, talking, counseling people in real estate. But I work way more than 60 hours.
Yeah, yeah. I used to be that person, but now getting so much awareness that how should I organize my day? What are my profit producing activities? And is it just a movement or progress? Can I look so now like the things that doesn't matter I can do later at the night when my energy is low, and the things I can delegate and somebody else can do, even though like this is very important that realtors want to save 200, $300 and want to waste their valuable time on doing the actual activities where they can have the commission checks of 20,000,
Yep.
25,000. So they have to think bigger for and then have a good things, expectations of good things for them too. Yeah,
Awesome.
so so much interesting, like learning a lot from you myself, and then I think the viewer will be learning so much out of it. You made it so clear for them to understand. So now you tell me, like, what made you think like you are a realtor that now you should be doing coaching? What brought you into it?
I'm Yoda. I've been here so long, other people need to know the wisdom, of the
You're
force.
overflowing. Now overflowing, I need to give.
It has been an industry that has given and provided me a quality of life for the last 4 decades. If I don't find some gratitude and way of turning and giving back to it, I really haven't learned anything, have I?
Yeah,
So this is
yeah.
my chance to say thank you to an industry that has, you know, paid for 3 divorces and done other things at that
Yeah,
point. So
yes.
it really is something that has been
Yeah.
an interesting love affair, sometimes, with a mistress and
I
sometimes
appreciate
with a
being so
wife.
transparent. Yeah. Yeah. Like I saw that most of the realtors, they are very successful. And I think I mentioned that, like, but they're single men. So this is very important that you have so much money, but you have time for your family and the things that really matters at the end. So that's why you have to be very watchful of what you're doing and how you're doing and not wasting more
It's
time.
very easy to sell your soul.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me have a look like anything if I missed. Before I look at it, like, meanwhile, if you can share the things that must have things that any realtor who wants to be successful realtor, they should do, or they must have those attributes or disciplines. What do you
I
want to
would think that it's an important situation. It's an inevitability that you will be on a team. So the idea is, as soon as you possibly can, join a team. And I'm asked all the time, how do I know I'm joining the right team? And listen to what I'm going to tell you. The health of a team is the help of the team.
Cool.
Most of the time, you will be working with the support people, director of operations, right, a client care coordinator, etc. That's who your boss on the team is going to be, not the monarchy agent that's in front of it. So whether it's male or female, it's Bob, it's Mary, they will
Mm,
be giving you no time, no direction, no coaching, no training because it's not their job. Whose job it is their second in command. They run the organization. They run the ship. You will lead and do what they tell you to do because they drive the team. So when you've done that, when you've spent 5 years working with a team, apprenticing, you will be in a position to start now taking roles where you're in a leadership position, possibly even starting and running your own team because
yeah,
somebody showed you a model of how.
yeah,
I see a lot of people, they start great. They've hired everybody they know, and the team's a disaster in short order. Lots of people leaving, the team leader paying for all kinds of things that they shouldn't, and being pretty much broken out of business in 6 months.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be that way. When you know how to build a team, when you know how to hire and build a team, when you know how to manage a team at this point, you will put that responsibility onto somebody else that is a support system in your company. If you're a genius, if the part that you're very good at is sitting with people belly to belly and helping them buy, sell, or trade real estate, then please continue to do that. Trying to be, some preacher at the front and lead everybody
yeah,
to the promised land with your wisdom, save it. This is real estate. We're not splitting atoms, right? It's been done for many years, right? There is a process, there is a format, there is a formula of success that we all follow. Except when you don't follow that formula, you won't have success. So I recommend at this point, go in, become educated, figure out how to be, a team member to be a team owner.
cool. That's nice. One last thing I want to ask you, like, from marketing side of it. So, how a new realtor should market himself? What are the activities he should be doing first to be spread the message that now he's in real estate, and how he should differentiate himself
Well,
from the crowd?
they're going to make a list of everybody that they've ever known at this point. But keep in mind, if I make a list of everybody I've known, maybe you and I went to grade school together, right? You remember me from grade 6 when I hit you with the baseball. You don't know me as Ron James the realtor,
Yeah,
right? So I have some things to do. I build lists, right? I have people that start a list, and typically people run between 30 to 65 people. Sadly, you need about 135 as a good database to manage. And the funny thing about it is, you probably know more people than you think. So it's a matter of, who do you know? Who did you go to school with? What were your extracurricular activities? Do you still stay in touch with anybody from any of the jobs that you've had? What about school? What about post-secondary education, right? What about other courses, church, any kind of other affiliations? Did you belong to any kind of social or civil committees at this point in time? You know more people than you think.
yeah,
So we start to make a list. Well, I don't want to bother, we really didn't know Bob that well. Okay, well, we can get to know Bob a little better. One of the first things that I do when I sit down and we're looking at our CRM at this point, and you've pulled 5 to 10 names today of people that you're going to contact from your CRM, first thing I want to do is look at their social media. Everybody posts what the hell they did on the weekend. How many Father's
mm,
Day posts did we see
yeah,
at this point? Here's a picture of me at the beach. Here's me taking my kids there. So I walking the dog. We had
yeah,
dinner here. My father came over. right? There's so much fodder, there's so much content inside what somebody has packed into their social media. And what's cool is I have your real email address, your real phone number, your real address, street address. I know you. You know me. So I'm not going to talk about something on their wall and kind of go, oh, looking good, guys. No, I'm actually going to send them a separate message, an email or a text, and say, "Hey guys, I happened to be scrolling through Facebook, saw that you guys were all gathered up at this point. Shit, I miss your dad. He made me laugh when I was a kid. Remember that time I was in grade 7 and I came in and I scared the crap out of your dad in the garage? Man, that still makes me laugh. Hope you guys are well." I can build it organically because I give a shit,
Yeah.
right? How do you not
That's
answer that?
yeah. Just be real. I think like talk like you're talking with a friend, not like don't overcomplicating it.
Yeah, a fantastic book. One, actually, two books I'll leave you with as we close up. Right, the first one is called "Raving Fans" by Ken Blanchard, and this
Yeah.
one really delves deep into building client ambassadors, building your CRM so that when they hear the word realtor or real estate, they kind of go, "I got a guy, I got a girl." We can build raving fans. The book's an excellent template of how to do that. The second book that I would
And
highly recommend is one called Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive by Harvey Mackay.
swim with
Great
the
book,
sharks. I
Without
will be
Being
putting
Eaten
under
Alive.
this our video on the comments. And
Yep.
one book you mentioned earlier, um,
Oh,
put
list
somewhere
more,
the
sell more.
list more, sell more.
That one, there is a person on Facebook. His name is Howard Hong, and that's Huang. Howard is the Toronto sponsor to the listing Jim. If you need to try to get a hold of this book because it's a little bit hard to get a hold of, reach out to Howard. Tell him Ron James sent you. At this point, Howard will get you the proper link. It's an expensive book. I think it's like 50 bucks, possibly US at this point, but I love the book. It literally brings me back to my days in 1982 when I was putting these cassettes in my car, listening to Jerry Brescher teach me how to speak real estate to buyers and sellers. I learned to
One
stress.
last thing in my mind, like we're talking about marketing, we spoke. At what point realtors should start door knocking once they have contacted all their contacts from cell phone from the different places they know? So should
Yep.
this that should be next thing, or they should wait for some time, or they
There
can
is
right away?
there is a little bit of a success formula for door knocking. There is places on how to pick a farm area. So there is a little bit more to it at this point in the preparatory work. But if you can get past that, it's not overly hard. It's just labor and it requires attention at this point. Once you've built a database where it is a conversion rich neighborhood, it basically means if there was 100 houses in this neighborhood, 6 of them sold last year. It's a 6% conversion ratio. If you have neighborhoods that have a 6% or better conversion neighborhood, your chances of success with door knocking has been greatly improved. I would also tell you, consider neighborhoods that are somewhere between the ages of 3 and 8 years old because those folks are possibly ready to move. If you've ever driven by a brand new home subdivision situation and you see all of these for sale signs, you're like, they don't even have grass and they have a for sale sign. What the hell happened? How long ago did they buy these houses? 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
2 years ago, I was single on my own. I didn't have any worries in the world. I had no girlfriend, no kids, no dog. Wham! 2 years later, they're putting me into a one bedroom, 600 square foot apartment, and I have a kid, a wife, and a dog. Funny what
Cool.
happened in 2 years.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. Very helpful the information you shared. I think, guys, you have learned a lot from Ron. And Ron, like how people can find you, and if they wanna take your book and wanna contact you for coaching or any help, where they should
Yes.
find you.
You can reach out through our company, Kathleen Black Coaching and Consulting. Reach out to Kathleen's company. I'm sure somebody at the team at this point will be more than happy to kind of direct you to people like me. And then if you have questions directly to me, my telephone number is 289 242 9050. That number again, 289 242 9050.
And the book that you mentioned that you wrote, you co-authored that book. What was the name of the book? The Real Estate Inc.,
Yes,
I guess?
Real Estate Agent Inc., the book that makes you think. It was written in 2008, long before Prex were even kind of a concept in Ontario, and it talked about registering and being your own corp and why.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So that is online available, like if somebody search up this name?
Nope, they have to call me. It's still in print. I have a digital version. I have
Okay.
a audio book. I have a hard copy book. If you're interested, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to get a copy your way.
Sure. Thank you very much. Pleasure me like interviewing you. I learned a lot and hope like people who will see our conversation will get so many answers of the things they are in their mind. They will get so much clarity. Thank you very much. And anything you want to add at the end that I didn't ask and you want to share?
No, I think this is a great venue. I think that people need to heed your advice.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so then finish our show and you share it on your profiles as well and I share as well and then so that more people can benefit of our conversation and your message and the things that knowledge you have. Wonderful. More people should know. More
Yeah,
realtors should listen to you. Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.